The Queen of Granada, by M. Riff. Chapter 42, The Secret. She glanced at a ladybug Volkswagen overtaking the bus and explained, although my father was fascinated by numbers, he still subscribed to Asterix comics. I found out he was hiding them in a locked cupboard under a bookcase in his study. I also figured out where he kept the key. I'd sneak into his room and borrow one of the booklets. Since I had to return them quickly, I started memorizing all the texts and images. Tessa asked, "What does this have to do with numbers?" Rita replied, "I assigned a number to each of the characters in the comics. Getafix was 0, Asterix 1, Obelix 2, and so on. When I helped my father with the numbers, I used them to weave a story for myself. That way I had an idea of the numbers, and I could work out a result along the way before my dad hit some. Tessa nodded with a smile and said, "That was pretty clever." Rita continued, "When I started school, I didn't enjoy it from day one. One day, my teacher called my dad to school and told him I had learning difficulties. She said I couldn't count or spell, and I wasn't making any progress. The truth was, I didn't want to stand out from the other kids. They were all pretty slow. They'd use their fingers to count and struggle to spell even basic words. So, intentionally, I'd often give incorrect answers to make the teacher believe I had learning difficulties. My dad knew she was wrong but couldn't prove it. They decided to send me to the school psychologist, where my dad met my stepmother. She looked Tessa in the eyes and said, 'I'll never forgive myself for being the reason my dad met that silly woman.' After a moment of silence, she continued, 'Then she moved in and started changing everything in our house. She even convinced my dad to remodel my mom's kitchen, even though she couldn't even boil an egg. When we had guests, she'd serve takeout. One day, while rummaging through her boxes in the basement, I stumbled upon her psychology study notes. I was convinced I could find the techniques she used to make my brother as slow as the other kids. She raised her eyebrows and said, every time we went to the ice cream truck, she'd ask my brother, like a clueless goose, whether he wanted a big or small ice cream. My little brother, 6 at the time, would insist on a big one. Suddenly, the bus veered left. Tessa managed to place her hand on the seat in front to avoid falling over. Rita, in turn, had been watching the bus driver closely, anticipating an overtaking maneuver. She had already pressed her knees against the seat in front. The bus had yet to complete its move when an oncoming truck appeared around a sharp curve, speeding toward them.